Yeah, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be discussing musical notes and their rests. What are they? What are they used for? Now, first and foremost, we need to understand what are these musical notes and why are they used? Where are they used? Now, musical notes are basically signs and symbols that are used to denote pitches of sound and also their duration. So we need these musical notes because we need to understand the pitch a composer is trying to achieve as well as the duration of that sound. So why do we have musical notes? Now, the reason is not far-fetched. It's because they actually provide a standardized system for musicians to actually read, write, and perform music. So that's the reason why we have musical notes. Now, we don't just have their notes alone. In music, you have times of singing and times of resting. There are times where your part is not supposed to say anything or to make any sound. At that particular period, we call it a rest. So a rest is called a period of silence in music. So these musical notes have their corresponding rests. So if you are not singing for a particular time, then you call it a rest. Now, these rests, they actually have their time frames. You don't sleep forever, you don't rest forever. Do you understand? You have some rests that are 4 beats, you have some rests that are 2 beats, you have some rests that... You get the point. Okay, now, what are these musical notes? What are their names? And how are they drawn? Now, the first on my list is the brief. The brief is also known as the double note. Brief, B-R-E-V-E, brief. Now, in recent music, we don't usually see these musical notes here and there. The reason is, when singing these notes is usually too long. For crying out loud, who wants to sing a note for 8 beats? Imagine singing for la, just one note, when it's not a coda. So this note is not actually used in many contemporary musical sheets anymore, but it's good to always know where we are coming from. It's good to always know the background. So we have the brief. The brief has 8 beats. It has 8 beats and is also known as double note. Do you understand? So the equivalent rest is also going to have 8 beats. So if you are having a brief rest, it's going to occupy the third space. It's going to occupy the third space. So in between the fourth and the third line is where you have the brief rest. Next is the semi-brief. Now, this is regarded as the largest note we have right now in our contemporary music. So we have the semi-brief, which is called also the whole note. Now, the semi-brief has 4 beats. Its equivalent rest also has 4 beats. And how do you recognize the rest? The rest is hanging on the 4th line. It's hanging on the 4th line. So that's how you recognize the rest. So if I'm going to sing la, I've sang for 4 beats. And if I'm going to rest, I've rested for 4 beats. So that's how you count the beats. Now we also have the half note. The half note is known as the minim. The minim has a count of 2. So we have 2 beat counts. So if you are going to sing it, you have la. Now the minim rest also has 2 beat counts. You've rested for 2 beats. Do you understand? Now, how does the minim rest look like? The minim rest actually sits on the 3rd line. So it's sitting on the 3rd line. Now the next one is the quarter note. The quarter note is known as the crotchet. It has just 1 beat. So its equivalent rest will also be 1 beat. How does the quarter rest look like? Now the quarter rest just looks like an opposite 3 with pointed edges. It looks like an opposite 3 with pointed edges. So that's how you draw your quarter note rest, the crotchet rest. So it's drawn in the middle of the stave. We also have the 8th note. The 8th note is known as the quiver note. Now the quiver note, just like every other note, has its own rest. Now the quiver note has a rest that looks like a number 7. The rest looks like a number 7. Fast forward to the next note is the 16th note. The 16th note is almost like the quiver note. The only thing is that it has a second flag as well as the rest. So the rest also has a second flag attached to the stem. So you have a number 7 and another flag. So those are the notes that we have in music. So now other ones are actually faster notes, and it's not every music or every sheet music that you find them. Yeah, welcome to the fun fact section. Yeah, now I have a little bit of something for you. Now look to this side. Yeah, there's a picture over there. If you know the name of that bird, can you just comment right down there in the comment section? Yeah, thank you. Okay, so the bird is a nightingale. Yeah, nightingale. And the bird has a sonorous voice. Actually, it has a beautiful voice. It sings so well that people had to actually start nicknaming good singers after the name of this bird. You hear people saying, "You sing so beautifully like a nightingale." Yeah, so that's how beautifully it sings that people had to start comparing human beings with that bird. Now check out this video. So sonorous, right? Yeah. So if you enjoy this content, if you enjoy what you've been watching, you enjoy what I give out there, please do me a favor by subscribing, liking, and then sharing this video to your friends, family, and those that are interested in learning music theory. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much.